Hi, I'm Alice, and this is my story of how I managed to get my crush to fall for me. I've never had a boyfriend before, and from the moment I saw him, I decided I would find a way, any way, to make this boy love me. You see, Ben was the new kid in school. You know what that's like, right? Everyone was curious about him. All the boys wanted to be his friends because his dad was a famous footballer, and all the girls wanted to be his girlfriend because, well, he's cute, okay? But it's not just that. There's something different about him. He's not loud and annoying like the other boys. He's quiet and he loves reading and he just seems kind of mysterious. It was the beginning of term, and I made a promise to myself that before the end of term, we would be holding hands and eating lunch together on the bench in the playground that everyone calls the lover's bench. Challenge accepted. Unlike the other girls who would walk by him and flick their hair and bat their eyelashes at him, I kept my distance. I didn't add him as a friend on my Instagram or Facebook, but I did stalk him, of course. Every night after my mom said goodnight, I would scroll through his photos and try to figure him out. I mean, his family was rich, and his dad was the talk of the town, but he still seemed so normal, so down to earth. On the weekends, when everyone else was hanging out in the mall, where was he? At his dad's football matches? It didn't seem like it. He posted a video once from the new Modern Art Museum that had just opened. I knew my friends wouldn't be interested, so I begged my mom to take me. I said it was for research for a project, which technically isn't a lie, but I couldn't exactly tell her it was so I could make Ben fall for me. I took lots of photos of the exhibitions and even a selfie at the entrance to the museum. I shared them online and used the same hashtag he had, hoping he'd see it. Okay, so he liked art. What else did he like? He always had his nose in a book, but I could never get close enough to see what it was he was reading. One day after school, I went to the school library and asked the librarian if she could tell me what Ben liked to read. She pointed me in the direction of the classics. She said he was working his way through the works of Shakespeare and had just finished Romeo and Juliet. Jackpot! I borrowed a copy, and the next day at school, I made sure to carry it everywhere with me. In our literature class, where I had always been pretty quiet, I started raising my hand more. I swear he smiled at me after that class. So he liked literature and art. He was so smart. It made me giggle when I thought about all the other girls wearing football tops to try and win him over. He wasn't like his dad at all. I had spent a whole week researching modern art, and I'd almost finished reading Romeo and Juliet. I decided it was time to approach him. He was sitting under a tree reading. I felt like my heart was going to burst out of my chest. I asked him if I could sit next to him, and he said yes. He said yes! Then I pulled out my copy of Romeo and Juliet. He told me it was his all-time fave, and then he offered me one of his chips. It was going well. I introduced myself, and pretty soon we were chatting nonstop. For the next few days, we always met under the same tree, and one day he asked me if I wanted to go to the theater with him. His sister was acting in it, and maybe I'd like it. I almost hugged him there on the spot. I walked away with a big grin on my face. I could see how annoyed the other girls were, like they couldn't believe he'd be interested in someone like me. We went to the theater together, and it was incredible. I even met his mom and dad. I think he knows that I'm new to this whole reading Shakespeare and going to art exhibitions kind of world. But hey, it worked! And he likes me for me. He laughs at my silly jokes and doesn't care when I can't pronounce some of the words in his books. And I guess that's what it's really about, isn't it? Finding someone who likes you for who you really are. Maybe I just should have had the courage to speak to him from the very beginning. I didn't need to pretend to be someone I wasn't. But I'll be honest, it was pretty fun learning about art. Sometimes it's good to discover new hobbies and interests. And hey, now I have a boyfriend. What do you think of this story? Feel free to share your comments and stories in the comments section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.